Now, we do lots of stuff with Merseyside Police, but I want to meet the real heroes of Merseyside Police Force. That's exactly what we're going to be doing over the next few days on the Guide Liverpool. And these heroes aren't human, Dave.
No, they're our
dogs.
four-legged friends, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, they're dogs.
Tell us what you do.
I'm one of the dog handlers for Merseyside Police, work out of the Operational Command Centre in Speke. We use our operational police dogs to basically detain and catch offenders and search out for things like drugs, cash, firearms, explosives and even dead bodies.
Tell us about the main role of a Merseyside police dog, because some of these dogs do different things.
All the dog handlers will have at least one dog. That will be your general purpose dog. Essentially, German Shepherd, Belgian Shepherd. They are your bread and butter dogs for searching for offenders, catching your burglars and searching for things like stolen property that's been discarded by an offender. So, for example, a burglar runs out of a house. These dogs can track that offender. We also train them to obviously bite people. They are there to detain offenders when they flee from the police and also to protect ourselves and members of the public.
How do you kind of draw the line? So when you go home, when does that dog become your buddy, or does it?
When they come to work, they are their working dogs. When they go home, that's their home time. It's like us when we switch off. When we go home, we don't want to be in work. We come home to switch off, and that's what I expect of the dogs as well.
Do you enjoy it? Are you still as passionate as what you were?
I always wanted to be a dog handler. From the day I joined the police, saw what some of the other handlers did and thought, yeah, this is amazing. You know, you get to work with two animals that essentially become your best friends, and two animals that will only work for you. And to have that bond and that relationship, it's second to none. You know, you can't beat it. And when you get a positive result, either a drug's find or you find a burglar hiding in the garden, there's no better feeling than saying, do you know what, my dogs did that because I asked them to.
We're gonna get a little insight into that. Next up, though, I want to meet these two dogs. So Dave, firstly, tell us where we are right now.
Yeah, we're at one of our police impound yards and we're here today to go and search a vehicle.
Okay, so this vehicle was seized last night?
I think it was seized last night for an offence. I think there was a drugs offence involved, and then they've found certain other bits of evidence in the vehicle. So they've asked me to come down this morning and just go through the vehicle with Lucy.
Okay, so Lucy is going to search the vehicle. Will she smell something before, or will you just let it go? How does it work?
Essentially, we have a little bit of a routine. She'll go around the outside pretty much independently, just with me pointing at various bits if she misses or she doesn't hit a wheel.
How do they let you know this is something?
With Lucy, she predominantly works on what's called a body freeze. So essentially, she'll get really, really excited when she hits the smell, and then when she finds the source of that smell, she will freeze. So her body will go rigid, her tail will wag like mad, and she'll be looking at the source of the scent.
How does she know exactly what she's pinpointing?
When we train these dogs, we train them to find the most common street drugs. We train them to find guns, component parts, ammunition, and we train them to find cash. And all we're doing is we're homing in on their nasal instinct and their ability to work for a reward.
Did we find anything? Did Lucy show any signs?
We've not found a source of a scent. There is an area of interest which I want a search team to come down and search in more detail, and it's the boot area. During the course of that search, her head was sort of up in the air, which she may have been chasing a scent that's dropping out from the boot lid. I don't want to cause any damage to the vehicle, so we can get a search team down that have got various bits of equipment, endoscopes and so on and so forth, that they can look into cavities. But ultimately, by using Lucy, it'll save so much time, so much officer resources, because when the search team come down and just say to them, focus on the boot, rather than spending 4 hours on the car.
So in terms of this job, it's a job well done for Lucy.
Yeah, we'll go and give them a run now, but yeah, I'm happy she's done a good job.
So Dave, you're obviously part of the dog section. You got two dogs with you at all times, am I right?
Yeah, got two dogs with me. Got Lucy and Chico, and they're currently in the back of the vehicle at the moment.
So the big difference with these cars, we've obviously got two dog kennels, if you like,
yeah,
in the boot of the vehicle. Now there's a big question that needs answering, because a lot of people ask you this, and I asked you it earlier. air conditioning for the dogs?
All the air conditioning from the vehicle gets channeled into the kennels, so now those two will be nice and cool, and I'll be moderately warm in the front.
To sum up Dave and the type of police officer he is, you can see all the normal kit, all the high-tech kit and equipment, and then in his pocket he's got about 10-15 poo bags, which shows he is part of the dog section. There they are, they're with you all the time.
Yeah.
But tell us about some of this kit that you're wearing today.
Obviously, we get standard patrolling kit is your belt kit and your body armour. We have slightly different body armour to the standard patrol sections. This is fully ballistic, so it will stop bullets.
Obviously, a normal police officer has got all this to think about. You've also got a dog, a second person, if you like, to look after while you're trying to do your normal role. That must take a lot of work to be thinking of both you and the dog safety.
So we dynamically risk assess this sort of stuff as we're dealing with the job. We have to, by law, give the opportunity for an individual to give themselves up. We would always shout to that individual to give them the opportunity to stop running. We also let them know that we're in possession of a dog, and we tell them to stop running or the dog will be deployed.
So they get a warning.
So they will get a warning.
And it's then a nasty bite.
Yeah, our dogs are trained to bite people, but they are highly trained and they know what they're doing. However, they will bite where they feel it appropriate. If they're kicked or they're threatened or they're punched, they may not necessarily bite an arm, they may bite a hand. If they're kicked, they might bite a leg or a thigh.
The last thing you want is a dog bite, really, so stop.
Yeah. We will give you plenty of opportunity to stop running. These guys are here as a last resort.
You've lost a dog in the past whilst on duty, whilst working. That must have been tough. Tell us about that.
Yeah, it was probably the hardest day of my life, or the hardest night of my life. I, just under 3 years ago, deployed routine night shift with Ghost, who was my previous dog, and we had a great night shift, start of the night, detained a couple of people for trying car door handles, and that was a good little job. And about 3 in the morning, deployed to a routine intruder alarm at a garden centre. We found a stolen vehicle in a field that had been used to ferry all the stolen gear from the garden centre. We deployed into search for the offenders, and the dog had jumped over 3 8-9 foot fences to pursue this lad, and unfortunately got hit by a car across a field and never recovered from it. He died almost instantly. And it's, the hardest thing to see is watch your best mate die. And he was my best mate. Spent a lot of time with him, been through a lot of stuff with him, and there's no coming back from it. And it's devastating, absolutely devastating. You just have to, you have to pick yourself up, but it took a long time.
What's your message to the public to finish things, about the dogs, about how hard they work, about how incredible they are in terms of what they do, in terms of protecting the people watching right now?
A lot of stuff that we do is unseen, not only with these dogs, but we've got other specialist dogs like body recovery dogs and bomb dogs. All of the tasks that they do without any thanks from anybody. They don't get paid. All they do it for is for the love of the job and the love of the handler. But they do an absolutely formidable job, and we would be lost without the assets that we've got with these dogs.
In Speak, this is brand new, really. It's the OCC.
Yeah.
What is it? What happens here?
Essentially, it's a single-purpose building for all the specialist units within Merseyside. So our dog sections here behind us is the kennel block. It's all indoors, all air-conditioned. We've got about 20-odd kennels. This is basically where we will put our dogs if we're going on holiday.
How do you leave them in work, or do you? Are they your dogs? Do you own them?
No, these aren't owned by me. They're Merseyside Police's property, but nobody else handles them. They come to work with me every day. They go home with me every day. I spend more time with these than I do with anyone else. And they're a massive part of your life. It's a big commitment. You can't just one day say, oh, I'm going to join the dog section. You've got to have that special bond with them, because otherwise they won't work for you. And it shows. The more passion that they have for you, the more work they'll do for you. These are the first things that you think about when you wake up, and the last things that you think about before you go to bed at night.
if you're on call and you're suspicious of someone, Lucy could actually find a gun there and then.
We may pursue somebody on foot who fails to stop from us, and they'll be detained further down the road. They've got nothing on them. We can be called to go and search the local area. So they may have thrown something into a garden or into bushes. You'll never find it. These guys are invaluable to that sort of fighting crime.
What should people do if they see a sniffer dog? Because a lot of people want to get down, they want to pat them, they want to cuddle them. Is that advisable or? It
isn't. These guys are working dogs. Whenever anyone sees a police officer with a dog, if it's one full of teeth, then just steer clear of it completely. We're more than happy if we're not working with our dogs for people to come over and speak to us. We want people to know what our dogs are capable of.
Dave, thanks so much for having us. And Chico and Lucy, it's been lovely to meet you both.
Very welcome.
We'll get more online, theguideliverpool.com, and get following Merseyside Police Dogs for more.